The Quantum Gambit. The crystalline spires of the collective's central assembly stretched impossibly high into Proxima Centauri's crimson sky, their surfaces refracting light in complex patterns that served as the primary form of communication for many of its member species. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the Assembly's Grand Council, her dark eyes steady despite the dismissive ripples of light cascading around her. She knew what was coming. She had seen it countless times before. Your species continues to disappoint us with these primitive theories. First speaker Zilax transmitted, their crystalline form pulsing with what Maya had learned to recognize as contempt. Consciousness as a quantum phenomenon. The very notion demonstrates humanity's fundamental misunderstanding of both consciousness and quantum mechanics. The other council members, beings of pure energy, silicon-based life forms, and even a few carbon-based species like humans, generated their own patterns of agreement. Maya allowed herself a small smile, one that didn't quite reach her eyes. They were following the script perfectly. "We appreciate the collective's guidance," she replied, her voice carrying the carefully measured tone of a scientist, used to defending controversial theories. "However, our research suggests that consciousness isn't merely an emergent property of complex neural networks, but rather a fundamental aspect of quantum reality itself." The assembly chamber filled with the equivalent of derisive laughter from a dozen different species. Maya had expected this too. The collective, for all its advanced technology and interspecies cooperation, had become trapped by its own assumptions about the nature of reality. What they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was that back on Earth, in laboratories buried deep beneath the Himalayas, humanity had already moved beyond theory. Project Quantum Bridge wasn't just proving that consciousness could interact directly with quantum states, it was demonstrating that human consciousness, properly focused, could manipulate those states in ways that defied the known laws of physics. Your species barely mastered fusion power a century ago. Second speaker Wraith Ul observed, their plasma form swirling with patterns that translated as patronizing amusement. "Perhaps you should focus on more attainable goals." Maya bowed slightly, playing her role perfectly. "We value the collective's wisdom and experience. Earth will continue its research within the approved technological development frameworks." As she gathered her materials and prepared to leave the chamber, Maya's quantum neural implant, invisible to even the collective's most advanced scanners, transmitted a single encoded thought halfway across the galaxy. "They suspect nothing. Proceed with Phase 2. The response came instantly, another advantage of quantum consciousness that the collective had dismissed as impossible. Acknowledged. The bridge is ready. Back in her quarters aboard the Earth Embassy Station, Maya finally allowed herself to feel the full weight of what was coming. Humanity had always been different from the other species they'd encountered, where the collective saw technology as a linear progression of increasingly complex tools. Humans had intuited something far more fundamental. Consciousness itself was the key to unlocking the universe's deeper mysteries. The quantum neural network growing in Maya's brain, organic technology that blended seamlessly with her natural neural pathways, was proof of this approach's success. It allowed her to process information at speeds that would seem impossible to the collective, to run complex simulations in her mind, and most importantly, to communicate instantaneously with other augmented humans across any distance. She walked to the window, watching the strange stars of Alpha Centauri paint patterns across the station's quantum shielding. Tomorrow, Phase 2 would begin. The first consciousness-powered starship would make its maiden voyage, using the combined mental energy of its crew to fold spacetime in ways the collective's finest engineers had deemed impossible. Maya's implant tingled with incoming data. Final preparations were being made, crews were being briefed, and across human space, thousands of augmented individuals were synchronizing their consciousness in preparation for the largest coordinated quantum event in history. The collective had always seen humanity as the upstart species, clever but primitive, barely worth monitoring. They were about to learn just how wrong they had been. Humanity hadn't been climbing the technological ladder the collective had laid out. They had been building their own ladder, one that reached into realms the collective had never imagined possible. As she prepared for sleep, Maya allowed herself one last thought about tomorrow's demonstration. The collective believed they had categorized and understood every possible approach to technological advancement, but they had never encountered a species quite like humanity. A species that didn't just think outside the box, but questioned whether the box needed to exist at all. The next few days would change everything. And somewhere deep in Maya's mind, in the quantum spaces between thoughts, she could already feel the future beginning to unfold. Mind over matter. The quantum research facility beneath Mount Kailash hummed with an energy that existed somewhere between thought and reality. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the heart of the facility's control center, her augmented consciousness spreading through the quantum network like ripples in a cosmic pond. Around her, 50 of Earth's finest quantum-enhanced minds synchronized their thoughts, preparing for humanity's first coordinated demonstration of consciousness-driven space travel. Neural synchronization at 98%, reported Dr. James Rodriguez, his voice steady despite the unprecedented nature of what they were attempting. Quantum field coherence holding stable. The prototype vessel they called the Thought Dancer hung suspended in a massive underground chamber, its sleek hull incorporating crystalline matrices that would amplify and focus the crew's quantum-enhanced consciousness. Unlike traditional spacecraft, this vessel had no conventional engines, no fusion drives, no physical propulsion system at all. It would move through space-time powered by nothing but the coordinated thoughts of its crew. Collective monitoring satellites are maintaining standard observation patterns. Maya's voice came through the quantum link from her position at the Earth Embassy. They're still convinced we're conducting basic consciousness research. Their sensors aren't designed to detect quantum neural activity. Sarah allowed herself a moment to appreciate the irony. The collective's absolute certainty in their technological superiority had become their greatest weakness. They were so convinced that consciousness-driven technology was impossible that they had never bothered to develop ways to detect it. All stations, prepare for Phase 2 initialization. Sarah broadcast through the quantum network. The response was immediate, not in words, but in the seamless alignment of 50 enhanced minds, their thoughts merging into a singular purpose. The Thought Dancer began to glow with a light that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. In the control room, holographic displays showed impossible readings as space-time itself began to respond to the coordinated consciousness of the quantum-enhanced crew. They called us primitive, Sarah thought, the words rippling through the quantum network. They said we didn't understand consciousness or quantum mechanics. Let's show them what humanity really understands. With a thought that resonated through 50 synchronized minds, they'd reached out to the fabric of reality itself. The Thought Dancer didn't so much move as reality shifted around it. One moment it was in the chamber beneath Mount Kailash. The next, it hung in space above Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon. Transit successful, Dr. Rodriguez announced, his voice tight with controlled excitement. Total elapsed time, 0.3 seconds. No conventional drive signature detected. Through the quantum network, Sarah felt the triumph of her fellow crew members, their combined consciousness singing with the achievement. They had just accomplished what the collective had deemed impossible: instantaneous travel across the solar system without any conventional propulsion. But this was just the beginning. As the Thought Dancer oriented itself in Jupiter's orbit, Sarah initiated the second phase of their demonstration. This time, they weren't just moving through space. They were about to manipulate reality in ways that would fundamentally challenge the collective's understanding of physics. Begin quantum field manipulation, she commanded. Through their combined consciousness, the crew began to create what the collective would later call a consciousness-driven reality distortion. The space around the Thought Dancer began to shimmer as they demonstrated humanity's true mastery over quantum mechanics. Matter and energy responded to their directed thoughts, forming structures that shouldn't have been possible according to conventional physics. They created stable wormholes, manipulated gravity, and even briefly generated a pocket of alternative spacetime, all through the power of their quantum-enhanced minds. In her quarters at the Earth Embassy, Maya monitored the collective's reactions through their public data networks. She watched as their sensors detected anomalies they couldn't explain, as their scientists began to register phenomena that defied their understanding of physics. But true to form, they dismissed these readings as equipment malfunctions. Their certainty in their own superiority wouldn't allow them to consider the truth that humanity had developed a completely new approach to manipulating reality itself. Final sequence initiated, Sarah announced through the quantum network. In a demonstration that would later be remembered as the moment everything changed, the Thought Dancer and its crew focused their combined consciousness on the ultimate demonstration of their capabilities. With a thought that echoed through the quantum realm, they divided their consciousness across multiple realities, existing simultaneously in several quantum states. To any conventional sensors, the ship appeared to be in multiple locations at once, an impossibility that the collective scientists would spend years trying to explain. As the demonstration concluded and the Thought Dancer returned to its chamber beneath Mount Kailash, Sarah felt a deep satisfaction. Humanity had just proven that consciousness wasn't just an emergent property of complex brains. It was the key to understanding and manipulating the fundamental fabric of reality itself. The collective would learn about their achievements soon enough. But by then, it would be too late. Humanity wasn't just catching up to the galaxy's advanced civilizations. They were about to leapfrog past them into realms of possibility that the collective had never imagined. The Silent Revolution. 3 months after the successful test of the Thought Dancer, Earth's quantum revolution spread like a silent wave across human space. In research facilities on Mars, beneath the ice sheets of Europa, and in the hidden bases of the asteroid belt, humanity's greatest minds underwent the quantum enhancement process. Each new initiate added their consciousness to the growing quantum network, strengthening humanity's collective ability to manipulate reality itself. Admiral Elena Santos stood at the observation deck of Titan Base, watching Saturn's rings shimmer through the methane haze. Behind her, technicians were installing the latest quantum consciousness amplifiers, devices that looked like ordinary computer terminals to the collective's inspection teams, but were actually gateways to humanity's growing mastery of quantum reality. Installation complete at Ganymede Station, reported Captain Michael Chung through the quantum link. His thoughts carried not just information, but the subtle resonance of excitement that came with each new expansion of the network. That marks the 15th major installation in the outer system. Elena acknowledged the report with a thought, her enhanced consciousness simultaneously monitoring updates from dozens of similar installations across human space. The collective's representatives continued their regular inspection visits, examining humanity's primitive technology with the same condescending attitude they'd always shown. They never realized that the real advances were happening in a realm they couldn't even perceive. In her office at the Earth Embassy, Maya Patel was conducting another failed demonstration of human consciousness research for the collective's scientific advisory board. She could feel their dismissive amusement as her instruments showed readings they considered impossible, readings that actually masked the true extent of human advancement. As you can see, Maya explained to the assembled aliens, our attempts to influence quantum states through consciousness continue to produce anomalous results. She deliberately kept her tone apologetic, playing to their expectations of human limitations. First speaker Zilax's crystalline form vibrated with what passed for laughter in their species. Perhaps if you focused on proven technologies rather than these philosophical pursuits, humanity might actually advance beyond its current primitive state. Maya bowed in apparent acceptance of their wisdom, while through the quantum network, she monitored the installation of consciousness amplifiers in 3 new deep space research stations. The collective's arrogance had become humanity's greatest advantage. They were so convinced of their superiority that they never looked deeper than the surface. Back on Earth, Dr. Rodriguez supervised the graduation of another class of quantum-enhanced scientists. Each new initiate expanded the network's capabilities, adding their unique consciousness to the growing human quantum collective. Unlike the rigid hierarchies of the alien collective, humanity's network was dynamic, adaptive, and fundamentally democratic, each mind contributing its distinctive perspective to the whole. Remember, he told the new initiates, our strength lies not in individual achievement, but in our ability to work together in ways the collective cannot imagine. They see consciousness as a byproduct of complex neural systems. We know it's the fundamental force that shapes reality itself. The quantum network hummed with activity as humanity's silent revolution continued. In hidden shipyards throughout the solar system, new vessels like the Thought Dancer were under construction. Each ship was more advanced than the last, incorporating the lessons learned from countless consciousness-driven experiments in space-time manipulation. On Mars, Dr. Sarah Chen led a team developing the next generation of quantum enhancement technology. The new systems would allow for even deeper integration between human consciousness and quantum reality. Early tests suggested they could achieve effects that would seem like magic even to the most advanced collective species. They think we're still struggling with basic fusion power, Sarah communicated through the network. They have no concept of what we're actually building. What humanity was building was nothing less than a new understanding of reality itself, while the collective saw the universe as a machine to be mastered through increasingly complex technology. Humans had discovered that consciousness itself was the key to unlocking the cosmos' deepest mysteries. In orbiting habitats, underground bases, and hidden research stations, humanity prepared for the moment when they would finally reveal the true extent of their advancement. The quantum network grew stronger each day, linking more minds, expanding human capabilities in ways that defied conventional physics. Admiral Santos received another update from the quantum network. The first consciousness-powered battle fleet was nearly complete. Not that humanity intended to use it for war. Rather, it would serve as an undeniable demonstration of their capabilities when the time came to reveal themselves. The collective believes they're shepherding us toward their version of advancement. Elena thought into the network. They don't realize we found our own path, one that will reshape the very nature of civilization in this galaxy. As another day of apparent human technological stagnation came to an end, the quantum network pulsed with the combined consciousness of millions of enhanced humans. Soon, very soon, the collective would learn that their dismissive attitude toward humanity had been their greatest mistake. The silent revolution was almost complete, and the galaxy would never be the same. Breach of understanding. The day of revelation began like any other in the collective's central assembly. First speaker Zilax's crystalline form pulsed with the usual patterns of self-importance as they prepared to deliver their annual assessment of developing species. The massive chamber hummed with the presence of representatives from 1,000 worlds, each convinced of their place in the galaxy's carefully ordered hierarchy. None of them noticed when Dr. Maya Patel entered the chamber, her quantum-enhanced mind already connected to millions of others across human space. The network thrummed with anticipation. Today, everything would change. We turn now to the assessment of humanity, Zilax announced, their translation crystals converting their thoughts into standard galactic communication. Despite our continued guidance, they persist in pursuing impossible theories about consciousness and quantum mechanics. Their technological development remains. They paused for dramatic effect, disappointingly primitive. Maya stepped forward, her voice calm and clear. The collective's assessment is noted. However, humanity would like to offer a demonstration of our current capabilities. Before Zilax could dismiss her request, the space above the assembly chamber literally folded. Reality rippled like a curtain in the wind, and suddenly, the Thought Dancer appeared. But it wasn't alone. Hundreds of consciousness-powered ships materialized simultaneously in perfect formation, their quantum crystalline hulls shimmering with possibilities that shouldn't exist. The assembly erupted in chaos. A dozen different species' sensor organs registered impossible readings. Security systems screamed warnings about spatial anomalies that defied known physics. Through it all, Maya stood perfectly still, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. Impossible. Second speaker Rethel's plasma form roiled with agitation. Our sensors detect no conventional propulsion systems, no known form of faster-than-light travel. That's correct, Maya replied. We don't use conventional propulsion. We don't need to. As if to demonstrate her point, the fleet of ships began to move in perfect synchronization, their movements guided by the combined consciousness of their crews. They danced through space-time itself, appearing and disappearing, existing in multiple locations simultaneously, performing maneuvers that the collective's finest ships couldn't hope to match. Admiral Santos's voice echoed through the chamber's communication systems, carrying the weight of humanity's achievement. For centuries, you dismissed us as primitive because we didn't follow your predetermined path of technological development. You never considered that we might find our own way. The quantum network connecting all of human space pulsed with shared purpose. In orbit around every major collective world, more human ships appeared. Not as a threat, but as an undeniable demonstration of just how far humanity had advanced, while the collective remained blind to their progress. This is no trick, no illusion, Maya continued, her voice carrying the authority of one who had helped reshape human civilization. While you watched us struggle with fusion power and basic spaceflight, we were learning to merge consciousness with quantum reality itself. Every human ship you see is powered by the combined thoughts of its crew, their enhanced minds working in perfect harmony to manipulate the fundamental fabric of spacetime. Through the quantum network, Maya felt the moment the truth began to dawn on the collective's leadership. Their carefully ordered understanding of the universe, and their place in it, was crumbling in the face of humanity's achievement. Your understanding of consciousness is flawed. Dr. Rodriguez's voice joined the conversation, broadcasting from a ship that simultaneously existed in the chamber and in orbit around Earth. It's not a byproduct of neural complexity. It's the fundamental force that shapes reality itself. Humanity didn't need to build bigger engines or more powerful computers. We simply had to learn to use what was within us all along. The thought dancer moved closer to the chamber, its hull rippling with quantum possibilities. Inside, Sarah Chen directed her crew in a final demonstration. The space around the ship began to fold and unfold, creating stable passages through spacetime that the collective had deemed impossible. We're not here to challenge the collective's authority, Maya assured the stunned assembly. We're here to share what we've learned. Humanity has discovered something profound about the nature of consciousness and reality itself. We believe this knowledge belongs to all sentient species. First speaker Zilax's crystalline form had gone completely still, a sign of deep shock in their species. How long have you possessed these capabilities? Maya's smile widened slightly. Long enough to know that we could trust ourselves with them. Long enough to be certain that we're ready to take our place as true equals in galactic civilization. The assembly chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just caught up to the collective's level of technology. They had transcended it entirely, developing capabilities that the collective's finest minds had deemed impossible. And they had done it all while maintaining the pretense of technological inferiority, guided by the wisdom to develop their powers responsibly before revealing them to the galaxy. A new dawn. In the months following humanity's revelation, the galaxy underwent a transformation more profound than any in its recorded history. The collective's central assembly, once the bastion of technological orthodoxy, had become a hub of feverish activity as species after species grappled with the implications of humanity's quantum consciousness technology. Maya Patel stood in her favorite spot by the quantum observation window of the Earth Embassy, watching the steady stream of diplomatic vessels arriving from across the galaxy. Each carried representatives eager to learn about humanity's breakthrough. But what they found often challenged their most basic assumptions about consciousness, technology, and reality itself. Another delegation from the crystalline worlds has arrived. Admiral Santos reported through the quantum network. Her consciousness carried an undercurrent of amusement. They still can't quite believe we achieved this without following their prescribed technological progression. The quantum network that now spanned human space hummed with activity as humanity prepared to share their discovery with other species. But it wasn't just about teaching them to use the technology. It was about helping them understand a fundamentally different way of viewing the universe itself. The challenge isn't the technology. Dr. Rodriguez explained to a group of alien scientists, their varied sensory organs fixed upon him with intense curiosity. It's accepting that consciousness isn't just an emergent property of complex systems. It's the fundamental force that shapes reality. Once you understand that, the rest follows naturally. In orbit above Earth, the thought dancer had become a symbol of humanity's achievement. Delegations from across the galaxy toured the vessel, their reactions ranging from awe to disbelief as they witnessed human crews manipulating space-time through pure thought. The ship's quantum crystalline hull shimmered with possibilities, each facet reflecting a different potential reality. First speaker Zilax, whose dismissal of human capabilities had once epitomized the collective's attitude, had become one of the most enthusiastic supporters of cooperation with humanity. Their crystalline form now pulsed with patterns that indicated deep respect, and perhaps a hint of embarrassment at their previous condescension. "We were wrong about humanity," they admitted during a session of the Central Assembly. "In our certainty about the path of technological progress, we failed to recognize that there might be other ways to understand and interact with the universe. Humanity has not just advanced, they have shown us a new way forward." But humanity's gift to the galaxy wasn't just technological. As other species began to explore quantum consciousness enhancement, they discovered something unexpected. The technology worked best when individuals cooperated, when they set aside individual ego and worked in harmony with others. It was a lesson humanity had learned during their years of secret development. The quantum realm responds to consciousness, Sarah Chen explained to a mixed group of human and alien students. But it responds most powerfully to consciousness working in harmony. The more minds that join together in common purpose, the greater their ability to shape reality becomes. This revelation began to reshape galactic society itself. Species that had long been rivals found themselves working together, their enhanced consciousness allowing them to understand each other in ways that transcended traditional communication. The rigid hierarchies of the collective began to give way to more fluid, cooperative structures. Admiral Santos watched from the bridge of her consciousness-powered vessel as another joint human-alien crew successfully completed their first quantum jump. They're learning quickly, she observed through the network. And more importantly, they're learning the right lessons. The right lessons weren't just about how to manipulate quantum states with consciousness. They were about the responsibility that came with such power, the importance of wisdom over mere capability. Humanity had spent years developing their abilities in secret, not just to avoid interference, but to ensure they would use their power wisely when the time came to reveal it. Maya found herself reflecting on the journey as she prepared for another day of sharing humanity's knowledge. The quantum network carried her thoughts to millions of enhanced humans across space, their collective consciousness a testament to what her species had achieved. "We never sought to prove our superiority," she thought into the network. "We simply wanted to find our own way forward. And in doing so, we've helped the galaxy discover a new path, one we can all walk together." The collective was transforming. The rigid categories of advanced and primitive species were breaking down as more civilizations began to explore consciousness-based technology. The galaxy was entering a new era, one where the boundaries between mind and reality, between thought and action, were becoming increasingly fluid. And through it all, humanity continued to explore, to push the boundaries of what was possible. The quantum network grew stronger each day as more minds, both human and alien, joined in the great experiment of consciousness-driven reality manipulation. From her vantage point in the Earth Embassy, Maya could feel the quantum resonance of minds across the galaxy, each adding their unique perspective to the growing understanding of consciousness and reality. The future that stretched before them was not one of technological domination or species superiority, but of endless possibility and discovery. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer with new potential as humanity and their galactic neighbors stepped forward together into a dawn of unprecedented cooperation and discovery. They had not just changed technology, they had changed the very way conscious beings understood their place in the cosmos. And this, Maya knew, was just the beginning.